All right, shalom, shalom, man. You know, first and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shimi Hawashai. I'm finna redo my Sabbath lesson. I actually did a Sabbath lesson at the crib, but I messed around and deleted it while I was recording. So I'm gonna just go over what I went over today in 2Maccabees chapter 6, man. Going into the mighty brother Eleazar, right? Because it's good to read the accounts in the Maccabees, man, because a lot of that stuff that our ancestors went through during the time of the Greeks, right? It's gonna come back again, right? The times that we went through are gonna come back again on this earth. So it's good to read these accounts, to have it in our minds, so when these things do happen to us, when we are in this situation to where we have to choose the Most High or choose the world, we'll know how to maneuver through it because our ancestors before us went through these things, man. Right? That's why the scriptures say the scriptures are made for our learning's sake. We read different accounts on how the Most High delivered the children of Israel through different situations. So when these things happen to us, it's no surprise, man. Right. So when you got 2 Maccabees chapter 6, they want to get into it, King.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 6. You want it verse 18?
Start at verse 1. 2 Maccabees 6 and 1.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
So I'm gonna be stopping you a lot. It's a lot on there, man. So it's very interesting that they send an old man to try to compel the Jews to basically start keeping our laws, man, because the elders back then, they were the ones that everybody looked up to, right? The elders was the ones that had the wisdom. So they send the elders to come and try to get us to break our laws, man. They always try to get our people to come and stop us from doing something. Just like in today's time in the police department, if something going on in the hood, they always gonna get the Jake police officer, the black police officer to go try to break it up, right? They always, throughout history, been trying to get our people to get in our situations and try to break it up, man. So they got an elder to try to stop our people from keeping the laws, man. This how you know that our laws are very important, although you have people say they done away with. It's so important that they try to get an old man, an elder, to come and try to stop our people from keeping the laws.
And it says, to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Jerusalem of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
So they also, what they was doing was, see, we don't learn about, we learn about Greek mythology, right? We learn about Thor and all that, but we don't hear this side of the Greeks, man. We heard about Alexander the Great and they tell us all the magnificent things that he did, but we don't hear about this side of the Greeks, how they were just coming in, defiling our temple, man. Talking about, we're going to name it Jupiter now. Right? We going to name it Jupiter. And we're going to come in and bring unclean things in there. We don't.
And it says, the coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people. For the temple was filled with riot and reviling by the Gentiles who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with the profane things which the law forbidded. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So during that time, you had a lot of these heathens in our temple. Just imagine a heathen in our temple. They coming in there and they having orgies, right? They're doing homosexual rituals. They sacrificing swine on our altar, man. We know that's unclean. They just coming in there getting a pig, cutting it up and offering it on the altar. And they saying we couldn't even confess ourselves to be a Jew. So then when you go back to Paul and he says there's no difference between Jew and Greek, or Jew and Greek, it makes sense, because if they wasn't calling themselves Jews, what would they have to call themselves? Greeks. Right? So you had a lot of our people that was denouncing the name of the Lord and started living like the Greeks and was calling themselves Greeks and started living like the Greeks and doing the Greek customs. Similar to how these fraternities and sororities be in college when they start pledging Greek. It's the same as that thing. And it said we couldn't even, they was a bill was passed to the point they were trying to stop us from keeping our holy days, trying to stop us from keeping the Sabbath days, man, because they know how sacred and how holy that is to us. Read on, King.
And it says, and in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in possession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
Right, so they basically they were trying to force them to do abomination. Had them carrying ivory, probably had the little leaves around their head. Cause you know, if you look into the Olympic sports is Greek, right? The stuff that they do, that goes back to Greek culture. So they had a lot of our people sacrificing the idols and abomination and trying to force them to eat unclean foods. That was during the time of the Greeks. Read on, King.
Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sanctuaries.
So he sent a decree out. He sent a letter. He sent a law out that basically say all the Israelites, anybody that's in his land, they got to do what we say. You got to live like the Greeks. You got to forsake your laws and start living like the Greeks. Now, this is a law passed. There is no different. Like if Donald Trump passed a law right now and saying these things that we got to start keeping our laws and start keeping living like Americans. It ain't no difference. But you have some of our people say the hell with what he talking about. This is a law. This is a law that that Ptolemy passed around the whole world. But you have some of our people say the hell with what he talking about. Read on.
And it says, and whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
Yeah, and you was put to death. A lot of people was put to death if they was caught keeping the Torah. Read on, King.
And it says, then might a man have seen the present misery, for there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children.
So you had 2 women, because you have some women be like, well, we don't really hear about the good things of the women in the Bible. We majority hear about men. But in the Apocrypha, 2Maccabees, you got 2 women that still, even though it was Ptolemy said, you can't circumcise your child, you can't keep the Sabbath, you can't keep your holy days, you gotta keep the customs of the Greeks. You still had 2 women. These are women, just like the 2 sisters down with the abundance. These are 2 women, right? That said, we rather obey God rather than men. So we still go circumcise our children. That's a law. We still go circumcise our sons. Like, let's see what happened.
Who had circumcised their children, whom, when they had openly led around about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall.
So they found out that these 2 women sacrificed their child. So the women was breastfeeding their male sons. So it said that they came and snatched their babies off the breast and dropped the babies from off a high building. All because the women wanted to keep the laws of God. And they could have took the easy way out. They could have been like, you know what? I don't want to die. I don't want my kids to die. So we're gonna start living like the Greeks. They said, no, the hell with that. I'd rather die. I'd rather die, right? To keep the Lord's name holy, man. You had these women. They literally had. We don't know how the building was. It just said they dropped the babies from a headlong building, man. Just imagine you a father, right? Or you a mother, and you seeing that. They come and take your child off the mother breast, and you see them, they got them on a high building and drop them. All because you circumcised them, man. We don't, King.
And it says, and others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered by Philip, were all burnt together because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day.
So they knew. That's why they was high. They're like, man, we know it's a law getting passed. So we know we can't openly keep the Sabbath no more, just like it's going to come again. We're not going to be able to openly keep our commandments. So they were like, we're going to go in secret. Let's go in the cave, right? But then somebody probably snitched on them, found them, and they died, man. So we hear about the Greeks. We read about how it was a lot of Israelites that bowed down to the Greeks and started living like Greeks. But the Bible also show you the other side of the Israelites that chose rather to die, man. They chose death. They're like, the hell with that, man. Even though Even though we know that the Greeks, because during that time, man, the Greeks was a high kingdom, man. They was going around snatching all kingdoms from everybody, man. That was the high kingdom, right? So they knew, man, damn, we know that these Greeks got power to kill us. Right, we know they got power over us, but to hell with what they talking about, man. We still gonna keep the laws of God. We don't, King.
It says, let's see, now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness, when the wicked doers are not suffered any long time.
Oh, and I was just thinking too, give me Sirach chapter 5 verse 5 through 6. Cause this the mindset, we gotta be in this same mindset, cause we gonna get put to the test, man. Life or death, we gonna get put to the test. And we gotta have this mindset of, hey, the Lord, if I die, I'm dying for the Lord, man. What you got?
Sirach 5 and 5. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin to sin, and say not, his mercy is great. He will be pacified for the multitude of my sins, for mercy and wrath came from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners.
Right, so when you truly think about it, we don't know the mindset that our people was in. Some of them probably was casually going in and keeping the law, probably was casually going in and living like Greeks. Or you may have some say, well, hey, the Lord may forgive us. You know what I'm saying? The Lord may forgive us. You know, they ruling over us right now. But he's like, when you think about that and you think about our sisters and the men that died in the caves, man, they had that mindset of shit. Hey, if I die, I die, man. Eleazar, hey, it was to the point where they told Eleazar, you don't even have to eat the pork. All you got to do is say that you ate the pork. We give you a clean food. We'll give you some clean meat. But all you got to do is say that you ate the pork, because we know that if you say that, the other people are going to they're going to obey you. Right? They're going to do what you do. Right? So that's why the Lord said, don't be pacified with that, man. You probably had a lot of our people saying that. Scared. We got to do it, man. If we don't do it, they could kill us, man. Right? The Lord understand. But like, no, man, the Lord said, hey, man, you going to die for these laws. Man. He said we're going to die for these laws. We got to die for these laws, man. We don't, King.
The book of 2Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 14. For not as with other nations whom the Lord patiently forbear to punish, till they become to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. Lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us.
So the Lord deal with us differently with the heathen, right? When it comes to us, he judges us right away. Because he loves us, man. That goes back to Amos chapter 3 and verse 2. He said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I punish you for your iniquities. So the Most High, he judged the nation of Israel quickly, right? Because he wanted us to get right. He correcting us. But when it comes to the heathen, because you have some people wondering like, dang, right? Especially the Edomites, how they do all this stuff, how the Caucasians do all this stuff around the world, right? All the murder, all the stealing, all the robbing, but it still seems like they haven't got punished for that, because the Most High is long suffering with them. He allowed them to continue to build up on their sin, so when he bring them down, it's gonna be just, man. He gonna bring them down to the ground for what they did. He's allowing them to do what they do now, but soon he gonna bring them down, man. But you keep going.
It says, and therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us, and though he punished with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. But let this that we have spoken be for a warning unto us, and now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
Right, so Eleazar, right, you look at this elder right here. Eleazar would be probably similar age to this elder right here, man. Now he was a scribe, man. Right, he was very known. He was a very known man of old age. Right? Now they had constrained him, and they said they forced him to eat swine's flesh, or they tried to force him to eat pork, man. Let's see what happened.
But he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination.
So he chose to die gloriously. He called the pork an abomination. He like, man, I'd rather die than eat a pork chop. How many people will do that now, man? How many people would choose rather to die than eat a pork chop than choose to die to than eat a rib or eat some pork bacon? They'd be like, no, man, just go ahead and give me the pork. It's just pork. It's just bacon. It's just sausage. But you had the elder, an elder. He said, man, nah, I want to die. I want to die with glory. Because if I die eating that pork, it's going to be shame, man. Like, if I even swallow this, it's going to be shame. I'm going to bring shame to my name. We don't, King.
And it says, and came of his own accord to the torment, and it behooved them to come, and that are resolute to stand.
Good, okay. Come, we don't, King.
And says, wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will show myself such as one as my age required.
So he's like, man, as my age required, I'm 90 years old, man. I should know better, man. That's basically what he said. I should know, but I'm 90 years old. I know not to give in to this. Right? So Eleazar was very, very bold for the Lord. 90 years old. We don't.
And it says, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
So he's like, man, read that again.
And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
So he's like, man, I'm going to die honorably. I'm going to die honorably for these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And he started walking to the torment. Read on, King.
And it says, they that let him change in the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred, because the foresaid speeches proceeded as a thought from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that have the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains, in body by being beaten, but in soul and well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a notable courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation.
Right, so he died an honorable death, man. He was like, man, though they kill the body, right, they can't kill my spirit. Matthew 10 and 28 said the same thing, man. You can get that, King. Though they kill the body, they don't kill my spirit, man. So he knew that. So he was willing to die rather to live as a Greek, man. And that's something that we got to remember. They're going to try us like that again soon. Where they had the same mindset our ancestors had that we read about in 2Maccabees 6.
The book of Matthew 10:28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
I'm like, man, that's what Eleazar was thinking. I'm not going to fear a person that can kill my body. I'm going to fear that person that can kill my body and my soul, which is the Most High God, Yahweh, man. Right, so with that, I'm going to give our honor and glory to Yahweh by Shimi Hawashai. I say Shalom.